In today's video, we are going to be taking another sneak peek, another early look into a Rise of Kingdoms patch, this one being the Easter Elations patch. In this patch, of course, there are the Easter events, there's a new KvK game mode, there are Ark of Osiris changes, and more. So let's get to it. The first holiday event that we'll be talking about is Team Draw. To make this long explanation short, Team Draw is an event where you use Imperial Scrolls to draw for prizes. You can get some speed up, some tomes of knowledge, even some equipment chests, but the main thing you're looking for here is legendary sculptures. The great thing about this event is you can choose up to 3 commanders that you already own, including 1 MGE commander, such as Ashurbanipal or Gorgo, and spin to get their heads. In the past, this was a great way for spenders to get gold heads, and also a great way to get gems. Here's how. In rule number 9, it says at the end of the event, all unused Imperial Scrolls will be exchanged for 500 gems at a 1-to-1 ratio. That means if you were to buy the bundles, you would actually get some extra gems if you didn't spend the tickets. In the past iterations of this event, that would essentially mean each bundle gave double gems. In fact, Draw event used to be so good that it was the first gold chest I ever purchased on my account, specifically for the double gems. As you can see, in the first iteration, it used to give 50 Imperial Scrolls. Multiply that by 500, and that's exactly 25,000 gems, the same amount of gems that you get from a gold chest, doubling the amount of gems that you would have gotten from a gold chest. There's an Alliance Stone chest that gives 1k gems with Imperial Scrolls, an Alliance Iron chest that gives 2.5k gems with Imperial Scrolls. So throughout every single tier, you would double your gems, if not more than double your gems. This draw event though, unfortunately, is not the same in terms of value. I purchased the Easter Goodies bundle, which is the main bundle to get these Imperial Scrolls for this iteration of the draw event, and it did not double your gems. In fact, it gave a bit less than half in most cases. For the stone chest, it gave 1, for the bronze chest, it gave 2, for the iron chest, it gave 4, for the silver chest, it gave 10, and for the gold chest, it gave 20. So if we do the math here, you still get 10k extra gems if you choose not to spend the Imperial Scrolls, but the value is not as gangbuster as it used to be. Keep in mind that there was a draw event during an Easter that had the same amount of tickets as this current draw event during this Easter. So it looks like the Easter draw events aren't as good as the holiday ones or the Christmas draw events that I was comparing to originally. But fun fact, last Christmas, they actually replaced the draw event with Smithy's Special, which is why we didn't have draw event during the holiday season. There is another bundle called Movable Feast within the Super Value bundle that gives even less tickets than the Easter Goodies bundle. So I would only recommend that bundle for really high spenders. Overall, for the Team Draw event, where I would rank it is I would probably only suggest it to mid spenders if you actually want to do the event and get some gold heads. It is pretty decent value to get some gold heads, but if you are in my case where you're good for gold heads and you're good with your commanders and all that kind of stuff, I would only recommend it to high spenders for the extra gems. The next holiday event is Verdant Picnic and Secret Springs. They combine hand in hand, where Verdant Picnic is where you get the currencies and trade in your eggs for some candy or purchase some hats, and Secret Spring is where you trade in those currencies for rewards such as materials or gold heads. There is a bundle, Woodland Wonders, and this bundle is actually not the worst purchase because if you do want to max out the rewards here, you will have to spend a copious amount of gems unless you buy the Woodland Wonders bundle. If you do need some gold heads as a high spender, Woodland Wonders isn't the worst bundle in the world to max. There are a good amount of speed ups in there as well, but I personally will not be maxing that bundle for my account. Wondrous Wilderness has a typical quests where you log in and do all these kinds of tasks. You'll be able to get some extra rewards. There's also War of Runes and Lohar's Arms training, but that is pretty much it for the holiday events. The next big change in this Easter patch is a new Season of Conquest story, Alliance Invictus. It isn't a far departure from the normal Season of Conquest stories that we're used to, such as the Heroic Anthems and the Strife for the Eight, the biggest feature being the Alliance Outposts, where you can loan your troops out to your alliance so that your alliance leaders and officers can use those loaned troops to garrison buildings or launch rallies. There's also curios in Alliance Invictus, which is a similar mechanic to something that we have in Warriors Unbound, for example, where if you equip a curio onto a secondary commander, all of the troops will be converted into the certain unit type depending on which curio you equip. There's support skills from bastions, One of the slight changes, but I do like, is the Altar of Darkness changes, where when the Altar of Darkness opens, any governor's troops within the Altar of Darkness province will receive honor points. So you don't have to just stay within the box, you don't even have to capture the Altar of Darkness. As long as you are within the province, you will get some honor. If we take a look at the map, it is a 6-camp KVK with plenty of fighting. The first opportunity being in a Zone 5, but similar to in Heroic Anthem Zone 5, this Zone 5 doesn't really matter too much. There is a Huron, which gives stats, but it won't make or break your KVK. There is a safe Zone 6, similar to Heroic Anthem as well. However, different from Heroic Anthem, there is a Zone 7 before Kingsland, and this Zone 7 is actually really crucial. One thing that's different in this KVK compared to the other KVKs is that the North Zone 7 seems to be a 1v1 situation where it's one camp versus another camp. Meanwhile, the South Zone 7 has 4 camps going into that zone. So you could have a 1v1 situation in the north and then a 2v2 or a 1v3 situation in the south, creating a lot of different scenarios for this KVK. If I had to guess how the matchmaking would work, I would guess the top 2 camps in terms of power would be matchmade on the top side of the map for that 1v1 scenario, while all the other camps are kind of evenly powered to have that 2v2 scenario play out. I feel like the matchmaking is going to be a huge component to this KVK, so we will have to see how matchmaking goes. We could scroll through the Lost Chronicles here. Everything looks pretty standard, but yeah, I feel like it'll be a pretty decent fighting KVK, and we will have to see once it goes live. Another big change in this patch are the changes to Ark of Osiris, specifically the skill rebalancing and the new skills. In the patch notes, it talks about how Hidden Sentry is now a generic skill, meaning that you do not need to use up a slot to use Hidden Sentry. Which makes perfect sense because every team was using Hidden Sentry, so now there will be more skills that will be used in the game. They also rebalanced some of the skills: Teardown, Valiant Stand, Bog Down, Desert Storm, and Total Vision. For Teardown, they actually nerfed the skill, for where before it used to give an 80% attack boost for 300 seconds. They nerfed it in half, where Teardown gives 40% for 180 seconds. One thing I will say though is that the cost of the Teardown skill has gone down dramatically from 3 points to 1. So it's a cheaper skill to use, but it is half as effective. Same thing for Valiant Stand, where before it'd give a 50% bonus for the garrison and take 3 skill points, versus now giving a 25% bonus for 180 seconds for 1 skill point. I think the changes to Teardown and Valiant Stand actually make it pretty usable now, where if you do have an extra skill point and you really need to take an altar or defend an altar, you can pop Valiant Stand, you can pop Teardown, so that you have a higher chance to hold or flip that structure. If we look at the changes to Bog Down, it costs 1 more skill point from 3 to 4 skill points, but it hits every march inside of that target, not only 30, it reduces the healing of the targets inside of that area by 50%, and it lasts an extra 30 seconds. I could definitely see Bog Down as a counter to Heaven's Grace, for example. We'll have to see though how it plays out in the mid-fights. Desert Storm seems to be a hard counter to his sneaky tactics, as they reduced 1 skill point for the use of Desert Storm, and troops hit by the skill lose a hidden status for 10 seconds, and troops get the hidden status through sneaky tactics. They finally also changed Total Vision, where it is the same amount of points, but they halved the amount of all damage that is given from Total Vision, from 20% to only 10%. They also added 3 new skills: Fire Arrows, which honestly I don't see being too meta, as it does increase range normal damage and range skill damage. I don't see that being that impactful because not that many people have range marches, but maybe when we get to the Grand Finals and the Grand Prix, where everyone is using Dev Gave accounts and unlocked everything, you might see Fire Arrows out, but at least for the playoffs, I don't think it'll be too big of a difference. Stalking Up and Energetic are both really interesting because they are skills that regenerate energy bars. Honestly, just looking at the skills right now, it's kind of hard for me to gauge how impactful they will be. I'll just leave the skills up for people that are interested. In my opinion, we can judge them once they're used in the playoffs. For the miscellaneous changes in this patch, there are 2 main ones I want to bring up. The first one being the 7-day armament supply. I actually think this bundle is worth buying. If you are a mid spender and you're already buying the 7-day material supply, the gem supply, I think adding the 7-day armament supply will be good value. The main reason being, it gives 3 epic armament choice chests daily, And if you actually look at the cost of the super value bundle, Royal Armaments, you're essentially getting 7x of value from the 7-day armament supply than the Royal Armaments. I'm one of the biggest armament haters out there, but this value is pretty hard to ignore. Another thing that I noticed is in the Lucerene scrolls, we're actually getting back city skins. If you guys remember, the first couple of Lucerene scrolls when it came out came with city skins. So it looks like for the next one, we will be getting a city skin. The city skin being 5% infantry defense, minus 5% archer health. So not the best city skin, but it looks like we're getting some more cosmetics into the Lucerene scrolls. So that is it for the patch review. Again, shout out to Lilith for the dev account. Let me know in the comments what you like about the patch, what you want them to add. Be sure to subscribe for more patch reviews and more Rise of Kingdoms content. I'm Ploto Gaming. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.